Hello everyone, this is Wednesday night, a time for trying to catch up on random stuff. Today is random stuff day. I'd love to just power through this this thing that I'm doing right now so I can get to something more fun. But hey, you get to see how I power through things. So I've got this project. This is something that I've done on and off for many years for my pastor. Will I get this fitted correctly? Sorry, one moment. Okay. Okay. Just okay. Let me know how the sound level is. I can never tell, as always, but I'm at negative 23 decibels. So you should actually hear the opposite of music. This is a photograph from my sketchbook of a quick sketch that I did to try to narrow in on exactly what is needed for this project. Hi, Linda. I'm not super concerned with the overall quality of this. I'm just trying to toss something over the fence, and I don't think it's going to work the way my pastor thinks it's going to work. But I'm going to try it anyway. And then I'm going to try something that I think actually will work better. See, he's doing an Easter sermon, and in the past I've done stuff like, let's see, stuff like this. So this was like shown on a big screen behind him while he talked. And it was just kind of subtly, thematically resonant with the message. I think in this year it was like kind of being on the outside of what's happening with these people who are drawn to Jesus or whatever. And so I did this by taking super rough paintings, I guess you could call them, and then throwing them in this program called sound is good, excellent, in this program called Dynamic Auto Painter. Thanks, Dottie, and hello. So I would render out the program actually doing these little paint dab things as separate layers, and then I just composited them in a video editing software. Probably was After Effects, and yeah, just kind of shifted them back and forth a little bit just so there's a little bit of movement, a little bit of life to it. The picture kind of evolves, and so that's kind of the idea of what's wanted for this one. But he had some more specific imagery that he wanted to evoke. And so he's fully aware of the difficulty here. My pastor's pretty sophisticated. He actually used to write scripts in Hollywood. So he understands storytelling, he understands metaphor, symbolism, kind of the artistic side of things. And so he knows what he's asking is ridiculous and impossible, but he's talking about Jesus in the beginning of the book of Revelation, where it's not the soft, happy Jesus, it's more like the eyes on fire and a sword coming out of his mouth Jesus. And he's hoping to rely on video effects of like lighting effects. He wants this like dramatic, warm light to be emanating and obscuring the specific elements of the Jesus, but he also still wants the specifics to be there. He just doesn't want people distracted to where they're not listening to him, they're just looking at the picture. Hi, Manuel. And so my job is to make an image that is both specific and precise, and ambiguous and metaphorical and subtle and not precise. And you know, I told him those things contradict and what you're asking is impossible. He's like, yeah, I know. Let's try a couple things. And I was like, all right, I mean, I'll try a couple things, and I'll do, so basically I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do one, the specific, which is kind of this illustration here. It's like, here's Jesus in a long robe and white hair and fire in the eyes. I did not put the sword coming out of the mouth. I took it just a little too far. Actually, I should show you this. Back in the day, I did this, let's see if I can find it real quick. Graphic art. Is it in here? I did a band like logo, like an album cover and logo for this band called Revelation, and it was specifically you know, Jesus as described in the first chapter of Revelation, which is just ridiculous. Here we go. I see it. Here we go. Yeah, so here he is with the 7 crowns and the sword flicking out of his mouth and the fire coming out of the, you know, it's just like, works great for a heavy metal band. Not so great for Easter Sunday sermon. Fat Cat, yo, how's it going? I mean, I love getting into like symbolism, you know, graphic symbolism and stuff. Like here's the logo for the band that I made, and it's actually pulling from lots of different places in Revelation. Like it's got the beast, and the beast has 10 horns, and there's like the moon turning to blood, and what are the eyes? I think the beast has 7 eyes or something like that. Anyway, I love incorporating all that stuff into imagery. That's super cool. But this particular project is not supposed to be over-the-top heavy metal. So anyway, I'm making this semi-over-the-top heavy metal version, and then I'm going to try to do something that's more along the lines of this guy, right? Where it's just like pastel and pretty and just kind of, I don't know, whatever this is. Alright. So I have a friend who's going to be doing the video compositing part of it, so he's kind of on the hook to do the light overlay, the slight movement, whatever that's going to be going on. So that's nice. So I'm going to give him these 2 assets and say, do whatever you want with them, and we'll see what makes Kurt happy. And I'm having trouble finding a way to isolate just the dark from the light on this image. Light strike, hello! Because the lighting in it is not perfect and the line quality is all over the place, because it's something I just did real quick at work during a meeting. Okay, so I'm going to try to balance it out, which you can do with a, let's see, what is it? Some kind of filter called like a something pass filter? High pass filter? I think. Just gotta find it. Hopefully it still exists. Thought it was in render. Doesn't seem to be. Talifar, hello? Well, darn. I'm not seeing it now. Therefore, I shall ask Google. Photoshop high pass filter, please. Where does it live? Great. Select filter, other, high pass. I thought that's where it was. Filter, other. Oh, okay. It used to be lower down. Anyway, the one thing this kind of does is like even or flatten out everything. I'm not happy with the weird little glow it's doing, but like I just need to get it to the point where I can select just the dark lines and delete the white. Now I'm going to try it like this. Now hopefully when I do brightness contrast, we'll do it more evenly. Yeah. Or no. What happens when I fill this with black? Good enough, I say. Thus it hath been declared, and lo, it was good enough. And on the seventh day Josh rested. Just kidding, I never rest. Actually, given the number of projects that I work on concurrently, it's amazing that I ever rest. But I get like usually between 8 and 9 hours of sleep a night. I don't function well otherwise. Alright. Got this. I'm just gonna go ahead and save it. Yeah, save it as Photoshop. Jesus metal. Oh, I don't want to save it there. I want to save it in the right place. Da, 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 da. Creative team. That's what we call it at my church. When my pastor is like, hey, all you creative art people, can you help me? And we're like, alright. Fine. My pastor is an incredible, super cool guy that I love dearly, so it's very hard to turn him down. He's been a huge blessing in my life for a long time. Gosh, it's been like 14 years. As long as I've been at ArenaNet, in fact. Okay, so that was number 1. Let's go to number 2. So I was just gonna do like a ridiculous photo composite for this. So I'm just gonna say like man in robe. Try to find something that looks vaguely Jesus-ish. Maybe I should just, you know what? Jesus in robe. What do I get? All sorts of madness. It's supposed to be a long robe, and he's supposed to have a sash. It's a gold sash. Ironically, all the silly Jesus costumes are the ones that get closest to the Book of Revelation. Excellent. Like, I don't want one of the famous paintings. Oh man, this one is really close. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab this sucker as a starting point. Ah! I'm gonna drop my pen all over the place. This can be really sloppy because I'm taking it into like this crazy paint program afterwards. Alright, so we're going to say good enough. Now we can do like a little Monty Python skit. Hey, I'm Jesus. Here I am. Okay, now I need to do a gold sash, I guess. Let's just see what the inner noodle delivers onto us. Gold sash. Pick the one without writing. Probably shouldn't say bride to be or birthday girl on it. For Miss Teen 2011. Yeah. By the time I have mucked with those enough to not be stupid, I could have easily just made my own. So, my own it shall be. Oh, here's a fun trick you can do. Painting something in Photoshop, and you want it to look real. Let's see, gold. What's something that would be? Let's try a ring. This is fine. Copy that. Paste it in. Oh, actually, whoa. Okay, this might be going too far. But what if? Stick with me here. What if? Yeah. You seeing what I'm seeing? Actually, let me see here. If I could just match the shape of that. Yeah, don't need to. Viola Infinite Gold Sash. It's poetic, you know. It can look like whatever it looks like. Let's see. Oh yeah, and his hair is supposed to be pure white, so let's get that hair pure white, shall we? I believe it's said to be as white as wool. And then is it actually compared? I don't think it could be compared to snow, but it might be. I might also be thinking of Snow White. You think Miss Teen 2011 is perfect for Jesus? You know, it could be that it said that, but St. John couldn't read it because he couldn't read English, right? How would he be able to read Miss Teen 2011 as a Jewish man in the 0th century AD? Well, if I don't do his eyebrows, then he's going to look like he dyed his hair. And then do I also have to do his eyelashes? No, that would be too far. Don't be ridiculous, Josh. Okay, I don't need to do the stars. This is all just for a rough test. So, let's get rid of this layer. Let's merge these layers. And I'm trying to remember how I separated the elements from those videos I did. I must have just put a crazy color in the background and whatevered it out. In this case, I think I could do just a black background. White is not black, for the record. Alright, we'll just go with that for now. So, we'll call this Jesus Paint. What is it? I don't know. We'll just call it the master file because all the variations of it can have different names. Okay, so now we're going to play with Dynamic Auto Painter. I wish I was able to find my registration. I bought the pro version of it years ago, but I haven't had it on this computer, so okay. Select a picture. Yes. It looks like this is updated a bit. Let's hope I can still do it easily. Open image. If that works. Oh, set it as a PSD. And load Josh wasn't a fool. That's better. So, we open that up. Then we pick a thing. It's like, let's try Benson. And then there's a play button somewhere. Here? Boom. Okay. So it's loading this set of brushes. And then does this really fun thing where it just like randomly grabs the little daubs of different shapes. It samples a pixel and then I think usually with random orientation just blobs a color of that with that paint on it. Drawings, welcome back. Oh, that's cool. So it's got these brushes here. These are the different shapes it's applying. I'm not sure why they have different colors. Wow, there's 100 drops in this set. I'm going to... Oh, sorry. I just wanted to nuke brightly painted corpses from my playlist for general audiences because not everyone digs constant screaming. Let's see. Sound of music. Can I make you just delete? No. I want to delete you. Why does all software have to be different? Why can't it just all work the same? That's all I want. That's all I ask. Is for everything to work the same. Which is exactly how I expect it to. Yeah. Okay, where are we at? I think it's kind of the point of diminishing returns. You can see it's just like doing little dips and dabs here and there. So let's see, hit the stop button. Okay. Boom. And then you save that. Okay, cool, yeah. So it automatically adds the style of the paint under there. And the name. Okay. And you can do different canvases and materials. Oh, look at that. What's material? Oh, that's interesting. Wow, they've added a lot since I used this last. These points, dude. Okay, so looks like got me a painting. Oops, not you. Let's see what this looks like. Looks like it did not apply that texture. What do I have to do? Oh, there we go. The big flashing red apply to painting button. Yeah, it is a neat paint program thingy. makes it easy to just slapdash stuff together, and then it kind of unifies it generally. This is a really cool example they have on their website here. Like, there's the photograph, right? Oh. Yeah, so photograph, it's just kind of mundane, and then it's like, there's like a really nice, cool painting version of it. Okay. Let us try a different one. So, I think there's a way to go back to the original. And that is what? Next unused file. Yes, use. Okay, well, if I can't figure that out, I'll just reopen this. In theory. Are you opening? No? Do I close this? Wait, you do! Is there not a close? Image browser, save, open. Okay, open this. Open. No, that didn't open it. It just went away. Save image, save as. Yeah, I did all of that. I don't. Oh, is it because I'm on a tab down here? Okay, I think if I go back and just choose something else, it redoes it. Let's find out, shall we? Or is it sampling from the painted version? Looks like it's going from the painted version. It's also, looks like it's using the same brushes, which is not what I want. So. Also, where is the shuffle button? This doesn't exist anymore. Nothing ever exists. Oh, I had to open it wider and make it show. Naturally. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's try Van Gogh. And Van Gogh. I better not be starting from that blobby mess. This is actually exactly how Van Gogh painted, by the way. He would just do sloppy photo comps based from other people's artwork and photographs in Photoshop, and then he would load it into Dynamic Auto Painter. It's a little known fact about him. That's why he cut off his ear. This one also has 100 paint strokes to it. And I also still don't know why they all have different colors. It's curious. Oh. It's doing super high quality oil. Reactor is an insert plug-in effect created with Media Cache Photo Reactor. It may take some time to process depending on the effect complexity. Huh. Okay, dry brush reveal. Cool. funny. I had a friend. He was a graphics programmer on the first Guild Wars game, and he created a painting program just like this. I don't know, like 10 years ago. I mean, not just like this. It wasn't as full featured, but it was the same basic idea where it would sample a pixel and then put a paint blob there. But then he went on to make Sketch Club for iPhone and iPad, and it's way cooler. Wow, Jesus has a Fu Manchu all of a sudden. He's now a wise kung fu master. You didn't know that about Jesus, did you? It's in the book of Revelaticus 873.9. And lo, Jesus doth taken them upon the mountain, and taughteth them thine kung fu of the Lord. It's pretty cool what it's doing down here. I don't know what's going on up here, but these robes look awesome. I mean, it doesn't hurt that they're already an awesome painting to begin with, but let's make them a different kind of awesome painting. What more could you want than different kind of awesome? I think that's enough. Let's stop it. Okay. Final output. Save as. Yes, there we go. Very good. Presets. Okay, what else could work? Right. Basically, I want something that's airy and light, because mostly it's supposed to be relying on these light effects to be pulling the weight. So I don't think I want the really heavy-bodied oil ones. I want more like watercolory. Which, not quite it. Where's my watercolor? Maybe it's at the top. There we go. Let's try Aquarel. That's an awkward name. The Kung Fu of the Lord. It's the art of fighting without fighting. Oh no, that's already been done. Let's see, I can set the border. I don't want it to have a border. Where is that? You can set how close it is to the original or how impressionistic. Should be able to. I don't know why I can't access these. Detail brushes. Make it faster with less precision. Oh, what is the speed of light? Are you guys ready for this? Hopefully we don't end up going to plaid. Boom! Speed of light. I guess that's just throwing all the precision out the window. I wonder, it almost looks like it might just be like superimposing the original over whatever was already there. Jeff, how's it going? Talent, say, I don't know if I consider putting a photo bashed image into a computer program and letting it paint talent per se, but it is something. I'll give you that. is something. I like how obscured the face got with that, although it kind of gave him a weird 5 o'clock shadow sort of thing. Not too keen on that. Oh look, now I can move sliders. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna try that. Go reactor run. I wonder if yeah, let me do one other thing with this. Let's see. Fireball. Turns out that's alcohol. Maybe there'll be a literal picture. Yes, okay. So, I want this idea of like fiery eyes, and if it's a separate element, then Adam can animate it or fade it in and out or whatever he needs to do to make it not like just crazy looking all the time. Alright, I'm going to say this is fine. Save it. Now let's grab this fireball, give it the same treatment. Go, go, go! For those of you who missed it, this is what I'm thinking for the end result. I did this for, let's see, Easter in 2012, where I used the program and I did it in separate layers, and so you can kind of see them evolving and moving really slowly over time. Like this is 15 minutes. Because Kurt doesn't want it to be something where your attention is focused on an image. So I purposely kept it really abstract. See, I think this is about like being on the outside and then slowly coming into community or whatever, right? So it's like, if you watch it at normal speed, it's barely perceptible that movement is happening, so it's not going to keep causing you to look at the screen behind him. Yeah. So maybe we'll be able to do something along those lines. While this is cooking, let's look at all the incredible things I've done over the years for my church. Why not? blocks? I don't remember that. I don't remember most of it. Oh, this was a design for, like, we had this little side chapel area, and the children's church teacher was asking for ideas for redoing the interior, and so I was just like, what kind of a room would I want to be in as a kid? I love jumping around on things, so that was my idea for that. Christmas Carol. No, I think that was just for invitations to a Christmas party or something. Nothing really fun there. Wait, this is... Yes, here we go. Reputtometer. I think the idea was, look at these people. What is your immediate judgment that happens in your mind when you see them? It's a good collection of people, I thought. I think that one was done. Oh, actually, speaking of the art program, I did this in, yeah, my friend Jim's art program called Sketch Club on iPad. And here's a beautiful wood print that I did all by myself. I just totally made that wood print. It's not a Gustave Doré image at all. I can't remember what. Oh, it was just like just pretty slide backgrounds, I think, is all I wanted for that stuff. Anyway, we have a good fire yet? Good enough. Done. Okay. So, let's look at these together. Got Vincent, go, graduated pigment, and a fireball. Okay, so I'm pretty happy throwing this one out. So between this one and this one, I think I like how undefined this one is. That's really what I wanted. So I'm just gonna do a super quick kind of blocking out. Yeah, that's fine. Call this Jesus Paint. Oh, you stupid Microsoft pen thing. Alright. Done. Done. It's my best impersonation of Marge from The Simpsons. Good enough, I say, old chap. No, why does it keep doing that? I don't want you ever, ever. Okay. Now I've got stuff I can send off and say, all right, here's two things to look at, two different directions. Take your pick. Okay, let's do something fun now. And what is more fun than grumpy little Scola? Scola Scola. Scola the Scholar. I wonder if that's why my mom named him Scola, because he's a scholar. He writes books, and he does it by using his 6 little fingers, and he punches holes in paper. So it's like a what is that? What is that writing style that is for the blind? Whatever that is, that's what he uses. Okay. How are we looking in recent files? Do we have it recent? Oh, it's pretty recent. Situated here. Okay. Braille. Thank you, Jeff. Suzanne parent. Hello. Are you the parent of Suzanne, or are you Suzanne and a parent? It's not apparent to me which it is. Alright, grumpy little Scola. I'm really happy where we left off with him. I think he's got fun proportions and shapes. I'm tempted to actually make his feet a little more pointed, almost like crab feet, but not that much. You're both. Wait, so you're the parent of a Suzanne, and you're also Suzanne who's a parent. So you have a Suzanne Juniorette. Is there such thing as a junior for girls? There should be. That'd be sexist otherwise. Okay. We still have our radial symmetry turned on. Looks like it. Yes. Okay. So if I start mucking around with one leg, it should change all the others at the same time. Yep. Yep. Now I kind of want to try it going the other way. I can do that probably by masking off the top of them. Then, we'll see if this works. Scale. Let's see if they go out like that. Let's not do that. I can scale just one of them. I can inflate it. I don't think that's what I want. And squeeze transpose tool. There's a keyboard shortcut to go back to the old-fashioned one. I really hoped this would be it. Another way to do it, because I can't remember the keyboard shortcut. There's 8 trillion keyboard shortcuts in ZBrush. Ladies and gentlemen, it has just been announced today there are 8 trillion keyboard shortcuts. Alright. Let's try the inflate. I don't think it's going to give me something I like. I'm going to try. Nope. 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 did not work. Okay, another option is to go in and just kind of move the toes out the way I imagine they would be splayed anyway. Because I was thinking, if he had his nails like tucked in, you know, and he would only really flex them out if he was climbing on, you know, the surface of the giants that he cleans. But when he is just on normal hard ground, he would have them tucked under. And so I don't think I want them splayed out normally, just because he's already got these 4 points of contact, plus often using his hands. So often has 6 points of contact. Well, 24 if you count using all his separate fingertips. So I think I don't like them sticking out. I think it's just this weird, like, blocky squareness that they have that's bothering me. So maybe if I massage that a bit, I will be happier. Oh, yeah, that, okay. That already helps quite a bit. Jeff says that this is the best pose for rigging. Yeah, this guy would be a challenge to rig because he's very turtly. Like, his head can go out and can like pull back into his body quite a bit, so that these rolls of tissue on his back hump kind of go over his head, and then his ears flop down over his eyes, because they don't like light. If they have to be out in the day, they kind of roll up into a little lumpy sack. Anyway, yeah, this is definitely am feeling this better. It gives a little bit of just a little bit of flow to the stumps rather than making them little cubes that he's propped up on. Alright. So the thing that's standing out to me the most is like just being inappropriately detailed compared to the rest of them is these arms. Everything else has been brought to kind of the next level of detail. Kind of his body too, but the arms especially. So I'm gonna gussy up the folds and stuff on them a bit. I like to use clay buildup for doing the convex parts of the of wrinkled, like, you know, this is essentially the same as doing wrinkled clothing. It's just, you know, wrinkly skin. And then I like to use the damn standard brush, which is short for Damien Standard, but they just have it DAM standard for the concave areas. So I do a stroke that is like too hard, and then I hold down shift and go over it again, and that smooths it back down. And so it's like, hold it up too big, smooth it down. You can also use the alt brush, does the negative of whatever brush you're using. But at least with the clay buildup, that doesn't usually work too well because it's such a squarish brush. Definitely want him to look like he's got puffy pirate sleeves hanging over his hands. Bring up some of my turtle reference. Where are you, turtle reference? I'm gonna make a shortcut to it. Art reference, animal, turtles. Where's my turtles? This is one of my favorite shots right here. I love the different textures going on. I love these big chunky scales and the way like there's littler bits in between them, and the thicker like round nubby bits get pulled and tugged in different directions, but because they're denser material, I just love it. It's great. Anyway, I like to look at that stuff and try to find similarities to what I'm currently sculpting. Like in this case, this kind of floppy down skin. Here's even more wadded up, foldy, wrinkly stuff. None of it really doing exactly what my arm is doing. I should look up real quick. What are those hairless cats called? Sphinx cat. We have any good limbs that are wrinkled up? That's pretty good. Ooh, this one's even better. Yeah, look at that good wrinkly arm. Let's save this in the animals folder, please. Why will you not just take me to my animal folder? Reference animal, where have I kept? No. Apparently, this is one of the 7 most affectionate cat breeds. There you go, Aletha. You need to get more of these guys in your cat ranch. Why can I not move you? This one. Okay, fine. Okay, move that over here. Man, that is super accordion wrinkled up, like way more than I have. Although, I guess so this arm is most of the way extended since it's like going down to the ground, so I don't want it quite as wrinkled up as that. But it's still really good inspiration. I've heard people say that wrinkles are just Z's, like the letter Z. I've heard people say wrinkles are just Y's or just W's. In the sense that, like, you look at it from here, you can see like here's a Y shape, right? But then it's also kind of a W. This is mostly related to compression wrinkles. There are different kinds. Well, I kind of had the vague gesture of them in, but I wasn't very specific, so I think I'm trying to reestablish in my mind where they're going. Just kind of quickly, and then I'll go in and make them look better. Let's get rid of the rest of them. He's got an elbow here, so this would be an anchor point that stuff would flow out of, like so. Then it's also going to be coming down from the shoulder. That's another anchor. But since he's got knobbier skin up here, it's not going to sag and fold exactly like fabric would, like the rest of the skin does. I'm just trying to find the right balance between being pulled tight against the anchor points versus how it would just drape. Yeah, Letha, your landlord would love hairless cats, I'm sure. Considering the types of dogs they tend to get. I like to think that your landlords are pretty reasonable people, but I might be biased. For the record, her landlords are my parents, because she cares for my autistic sister full-time. Yeah, still a lot of just kind of guesswork until it starts to feel like, yeah, I could buy that. She says no in caps when you talk about more cats. Well, how many do you have now? 6? The next time one goes to kitty heaven, get a hairless one to replace it. So I'm using the polish tool just to kind of help define in my mind the structure of these folds. I'm not going to leave them super crisp like this, but it helps me see things like, this is just kind of a weird wandering line that doesn't really make any sense. And it doesn't make sense because I didn't know where it should go. I just kind of drew a line. And so now I'm kind of undrawing it. Dottie, yes, I have a brother and a sister by birth, and then another brother and a sister by adoption. So we had a pretty full house. And since I was the oldest one, I got to torment them all relentlessly. I mean, I'm sure they had some fun at points with me, but also moments of torment, which I'm not proud of, but, you know, kids are just awful creatures. That is my opinion. Awful, awful creatures. The only reason they can be loved is because they're yours. I love babies. I don't love kids. I don't know what that is. Surely a deficiency within me. I mean, I'll play with them. I like giving them a good time. I used to do a lot of art projects for children's Sunday school in my church, and so I would, you know, often have a class of, you know, 10 or 15 kids, and doing all sorts of different art projects. And there was this one time we were doing themed ones. So we were doing the what is that? The Exodus, right? Where the people of Israel escape from Egypt. And so the art projects revolved around, first they revolved around what it was like to be a slave in Egypt. And so we were building pyramids. And so I was having the kids actually make clay and then build, like, you know, fun little pyramids out of them. What could go wrong? And because I'm such a fun guy, I actually dressed up in, like, you know, just a ridiculous, you know, Egyptian toga thing and headdress, whatever. And as the kids came into the room, I was saying, all right, you kids, you're gonna get to work and you're gonna make these pyramids for me. You know, just being a villain, whatever. And I didn't realize it, but there was a new kid who had never been to our church before. And he walked in while I was doing the fake, you know, gruff slave driver thing, and he just started crying so hard. Oh my god, I felt awful. Like, well, just damn that kid to hell, because he's never coming back to church. Oh well. You know, you win some, you lose some. I don't really think that. I don't think he's going to hell because of that. But yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with kids. I'll just put it that way. Babies, I absolutely adore. I will play with them for hours and have lots of fun making them laugh. Yeah, I don't remember if that kid ever came back. I'm trying to remember if I tracked down his parents and apologized. I hope I did. It was many years ago. Curtis Shortell! Hello, hello! You're just in time to hear me talk about how I torment children. Boy, the more I'm mucking with this, the worse it's getting. But that's part of the process. Kids are hornless devils. Don't feel bad about it. Well, I certainly was. I was thinking about it the other day. Like, I was the worst liar. Like, boy, there was a period of probably about a year where I was stealing tons of money from my parents. I must have been 9, 10, 11, somewhere around that age. They had like a little cash jar, you know, up above the refrigerator in like an old pan or something where they kept it. And, you know, one day I found it. It's like, oh, sweet, money. So I was smart enough not to take it all. I took like a $20 bill, right? And then I would go to 7-Eleven, I would play the arcade game, whatever arcade game was there, you know, buy candy and play arcade game for a day, and, you know, that would take the $20. And then, like, the next week or so, I'd take another one, and I had to lie straight to my mom's face so many times. You know, no, I didn't do that, you know. And then one day, the money was gone from the stash. It was just like, whoa. And so I knew at that point. I was like, oh man, they know something's up. But here's where the story gets super bad. During my normal rummaging throughout the house, as kids do, I found a new stash, which was under their bed. They had a folder where they signed their name and date whenever they took money out, because clearly they were like, what's going on here? They were probably miscommunicating with each other for a while, you know, so they were just trying to scientifically figure out, okay, what's going on here. So it's even embarrassing talking about it now. It's so bad. So I just learned to forge their signature, and I would sign and date, put the amount, and take that much out. And so, okay, here's what's truly confusing to me. I was smart enough to do that. I was so stupid, though, that I asked my mom on several occasions to drive me to Toys R Us, where I would buy these huge Lego sets. They weren't Legos, they were some kind of connecting toy that had battery-powered parts. You can make like walking dinosaurs or tanks or whatever like that. And she would ask me, where are you getting this money? And I just told her, you know, oh, I've just been saving it. I want to say I maybe had an allowance of $1 or $2 a week, if that. You know, for doing chores and such. Curtis, you're a bad kid. Okay, I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one. Yeah, and finally, at some point, I don't know how long this went in. I feel like it was maybe a year. I kind of knew they were on to me a bit at some point. I remember I took, and this might be where I started first feeling like a real pang of conscience, where it was like, oh wait a minute, what I'm doing is actually a bad thing, instead of just like, okay, what can I get away with? So I took all of these toys that I had bought. There were several of these sets, right? Probably $100 worth of incredible Lego-like mechanical toys. I reboxed them up, and I took them out to where the kids would come back from school from the bus stop. I was homeschooled at the time, and so I put them out there just on the sidewalk. I wrapped them up in wrapping paper, like, as gifts, and I just thought, oh man, these kids are going to see these free presents, and they're going to be so stoked. They're just going to be like, wow, these are free toys, bah! Yeah, so I left them there, and then I checked the next day. The wrapping paper, the boxes were just exploded, strewn out all over the place. The toys were just thrown randomly all over the sidewalk in the yard there, like down into the gutter. And I was flabbergasted. I was like, how could anyone get such an incredible free thing and just toss it around like trash? Yeah, anyway, at some point my mom confronted me and she was like, you know, we know that it's you. There is no other possible explanation. You know, we're gonna have to figure out a way for you to pay it back, blah blah blah. You know, for someone who had been clearly just lied to blatantly in the face over and over and over, she was incredibly calm about it. I think it really was just a very chilling thing to realize how like psychopathic her kid could be. Yeah, I don't like. We have a wonderful relationship today. I think because of that, like, I've always assumed that my kids lie about everything, and most of the time it's been proven to be correct. Yeah, and so my theory is, and this could just be me and my family, maybe we're just particularly evil people, but I have this theory that kids specifically, people in general, but kids specifically, they are just machines that will get away with as much as they possibly can. They are utility maximizers who will maximize their pleasure and minimize their pain, and there's like no moral consideration that comes into that calculus. Again, that's from my experience, and I have not been proven wrong yet. I know there's a lot of parents who have very romantic views of their kids that want to think of them as these pure, you know, who's the philosopher who talked about noble savages and people were born pure and good. Yeah, I don't buy it at all. No, they weren't connects, Curtis. They were. I should really look it up. They were super cool. So this would have been the late 80s. I'm not sure what cool mechanical modular toy sets were around then. Look it up sometime. Yeah, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's probably my own fault that my kids lied psychopathically. What's really weird though is like it was shortly after I graduated high school, I just had this epiphany, and it just like snapped so far the other way, like I practically became a Kantian. Just like a moralist Kantian. It would make me physically ill to think about lying, which got me in different kinds of trouble. Like when my wife at the time was demanding that I explain how much I love her, and like I had to say, I don't know if I love you. I'm not sure if I know exactly what love is. Pro tip, guys, don't say that to your wife. It's not romantic. But it was honest. I mean, I honestly did not know. I was 20 years old, maybe 19. No, I honestly did not know what love was. It took me a horribly failed marriage, and then marrying the right person, and now I'm like, oh, this is what love is. Okay, cool. I really like this love thing. It's fantastic, and everyone should have it. And I can't believe I was married to a person for 11 years that I didn't love at all. Like, I did the actions of love, like I did all the romantic things, I made sculptures, I made art, I wrote poetry, I wrote you know, notes galore of how much I loved and adored her and appreciated her, and you know, all those things. But I didn't. I, turns out getting engaged at 16 to your first girlfriend and then married right out of high school doesn't set you up super well for understanding the intricacies of romantic relationships. Surprise! Spoiler alert. Aletha, you did shady stuff too? Well, don't say here on the stream, because you never know. My mom might hear, and then she might tell your mom, and then your mom might ground you. Is this improving? I think it's improving. This part's still a mess. I think up here I'm feeling more comfortable doing more of this super compression stuff, at least around the elbow. All right, Aletha, you gotta tell me one shady thing you did as a kid, because you were the oldest too, right? Not any details, not even one. I mean, being the oldest kid is rough because, you know, at some point you had all of your parents' love and affection, and then suddenly it has to be divided among all these others, and then those others get older, and then they just keep wanting to tag along with you and your friends, and they break your toys, and your parents force you to share. It's not a good time. I think because this divot goes in so far, it kind of demands that it would be displacing flesh around it. Am I saying that right? Your parents were also the most strict with you. By the time they got to the last three, they gave up on rules. So not fair. That is a true phenomenon, let me tell you. Since I only had 2 kids, I think I was pretty consistent. And they were only 3 years apart, so it's not like there was a lot of drift. The only significant difference, I'd say, in the way they were raised was, I think this happens with most parents, is when it comes to the baby, like how nervous you are that you're gonna hurt the baby or drop the baby or lose the baby or whatever, right? By the second kid, you're like, okay, I got this, and you know, I know how far a baby can stretch and bounce before they break, and we'll be fine. So when you're compressing around a cylinder, which an arm tends to be, you end up with these diamond-like patterns. In general. But you also have to account for the random tendon that's going to be shooting through there, or muscle that's bulging in some weird way, or in this case, like, this part of the arm is squeezing in and moving those around. So unpredictable. I think I really want to learn at some point this program called Marvelous Designer that is for the fashion industry, but it's also used by character artists, and it actually, you like make the designs of clothing and you drape them over your 3D model, and it uses physics to simulate, and it could be any kind of cloth, any thickness of cloth, and it simulates it super accurately. It's really cool. The stuff I've seen with it has blown my mind. But yeah, if I knew how to do that, I would just like make his bone structure, maybe, and his muscles, and then just like wrap this in a sleeve. And I'd be like, well, what's it look with spandex? Okay, what's it look like with cotton? What's it look like with burlap? And bake that out essentially, and then put my skin texture over that. But do you know how many art softwares I know already? And by know, I mean like am barely functional in. The answer is probably around 20. And learning new software is so hard for me. Guys, you don't even know. It's so hard. I feel like this is a good place to call it for tonight, and I think getting fresh eyes on it, I'll probably be able to get it to a much better place next time. Been going for an hour and a half, so it's a good time to call it. Aletha likes the wrinkles. Thank you very much. Oh. No, I didn't have symmetry on. No! There's a way to fix that. I'll figure that out offline. But, or maybe I won't. Maybe it'd be better to just do a slightly different wrinkles on that side. I mean, if I was sculpting this in real clay, I'd have to do it that way anyway. And it'll definitely look better. It'll be more convincing if it's not totally mirrored. So, anyways, yeah. Thanks for sticking with me, you guys, and listening to all my wonderful tales of being the worst child ever. Except for maybe Macaulay Culkin in that one movie where his mom drops him off a cliff. I'm not that bad. Anyway, I got better. Sometimes people get better. Alright, see you guys later. Have a good night.